And we are back again with another totally unnecessary Book of Boba Fett recap and review of Episode 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. We start outside of Jabba's, well, I guess it's Boba's palace now, and we get a nice member berry here of the spider robots from Return of the Jedi, which is actually a member of the Bomar Order. They're monks. They remove their brains and put them in, you guessed it, spider robots. Jabba's palace was once a Bomar monastery, and now you know a lot more about these Bomar monks than you probably ever did before. Inside Boba's palace, our favorite torture droid, 8D8, explains the law of the land on a nice holo map to Boba Fett and Fennec Shand. In comes Lortha Peel, a water broker, played by everybody's favorite swingline stapler lover, Stephen Root. He explains he's getting ripped off by a gang of teens. He also explains no one respects Boba Fett. Ouch! Boba takes Fennec and the Gamorreans, and this gives him a chance to look like a badass on a stroll down the streets of Mos Espa. He comes upon the teens, which look like either an offshoot of NSYNC or an ad for Hot Topic. One of the gang's members, Drash, played by Sophie Thatcher, promptly tells Boba he is old. Double ouch. She also says that they're getting ripped off by one Stephen Root, and that they're paying exorbitant amounts for this water. Boba then makes an odd decision and hires the gang, telling a now-present Lortha to lower his prices. Kinda strange that this gang can afford cybernetics and space Vespas, but can't pony up the dough for water. Boba is now back in his bacta-tank, which means, you guessed it, flashback time. Once again, he dreams of Kamino. Then Nomad Boba Fett is atop a bantha about to go on a mission. He makes a long trek to visit a Pike lieutenant who tells him that they're already paying the Krrsantan gang for safe passage and the Tuskens would get no money. Boba won't abide by this, so he heads back, saying he's going to take care of the problem. In a scene resembling Luke coming back to his burning homestead, Boba unfortunately encounters the same thing. The Krrsantan Striders have wiped out his Tusken friends while he was gone. Tamora plays this part very well, and this flashback is one of the better parts of the episode. He plays it stoically, with the reserved quietness we've come to expect from Fett, but don't get quite as often as we'd like. Boba burns the bodies of all the Tuskens, the first family he's had since Jango. His time with them has obviously changed him partly, which is his character development and path, and it's inferred that this is why he's moved on from bounty hunting. And then he's awoken by Black Krrsantan, who is sent to kill him. Why BK didn't shoot him through the bacta-tank, who knows? A fairly brutal fight ensues, and it's obvious that while Boba has fight, he's no match for the Wookiee. Fortunately, 98 Degrees and the band shows up with electric yo-yos to deal with BK. The Gamorreans get in on the mix as well, and chewed up. Literally. Finally, Fennec shows up, and in Fennec fashion, puts an end to the malarkey in short order. Boba then casually strolls out, looking like James Bond after spending the night with a conquest. Fennec begs Boba to enjoy the bounty laid out before them the next day, but Boba is pissed and in no mood to eat. No need to, though, as the twins show up once again, along with Danny Trejo and a Rancor. He's instantly recognizable, and while he pulls you out of the universe, I'll allow it because he seems made for this part. The twins apologize for trying to kill Fett with BK and say Mayor Mokshai's promised the land to our favorite new enemies, the Pykes. They're done with Tatooine and they're moving on and urge Fett to do so as well. They offer BK as tribute, who Fett promptly sets free. This earns him a now trademark admonishment from Fennec of, was that a good idea? She seems to be saying that every single episode now. Is this maybe the new, I've got a bad feeling about this? I mean, it's basically the same thing. She should just say that, I've got a bad feeling about this. Next, it's time to check out his new beast, which apparently is depressed according to the nameless Rancor keeper, Danny Trejo. Apparently Rancors are very deep and emotional creatures who can bond with their owners. Boba wants to ride it, and so he tries to start his training, only to be interrupted by 8D8. The mayor has once again gone missing. Boba gets Griff's gang together and they stroll up to the mayor's office. Once again, we see Mullet Man and the Major Domo, who assures them that the mayor is so busy. Terribly sorry, but he'll see if he can juggle things around. But instead of juggling things around, he promptly locks the door and decides to flee instead. Rather than just jetpacking after the Major Domo himself, which Boba is completely capable of, he decides a chase that causes damage in Mos Espa is a better idea, and he sends off the Teen Titans after the Major Domo. This leads to a painful chase that includes more member berries to include some Bith aliens, a C-3PO lookalike, and a mural of an original Ralph McQuarrie concept of Jabba's palace getting destroyed. The chase ends with another member berry callback, this time to Rebels, when the Major Domo's Cadillac speeder is inundated with Milu runs. Boba did use his jetpack after all, and he winds up descending on the Major Domo, who finally coughs up the fact that the mayor is working with the Pykes. I'm telling you, the Pykes, it's all about the Pykes, right? I'm going to be very upset if the Pykes are the big baddies only for Crimson Dawn with Kira to all of a sudden just show up. That would kind of tick me off, but that's neither here nor there. This is confirmed as they are spied getting off a Starliner as witnessed by one of the gang members. Fett then makes a painfully cringy keep an eye on them joke, which is kind of shrugged off. Fennec then tells Boba what we figured when we first saw the Pykes. War is a-comin'. I know this episode's gotten a lot of bad press for the Mos Espa Vespa gang. It's colorful, it's cringe, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And sadly, that took away from what I felt was an otherwise decent episode. I'm starting to feel that this series' main issue is the direction, and it's being let down by Robert Rodriguez. This has been partially confirmed by Tamura, saying that he'd rather be more mysterious, and that Fett talks way too much. He said he's even tried to push his lines onto Fennec, but, you know, the director's the director, and he's going to get his way no matter what. We saw this in The Last Jedi with Mark Hamill, which wasn't entirely pleased with the way Luke Skywalker was handled. I'm really hoping the guest directors can rein things in. Again, the series has decent writing and compelling plots. It's just not being brought home by its direction, and that's a shame. Pretty sure that the next episode, episode 4, is being directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, so hopefully things will get a little more on track. Anyhow, let me know what you thought of this episode, and I will catch you all later on the next totally unnecessary Book of Boba Fett recap and review.